Untold Indian Warren horror case. She says I can borrow her name just for a while. A girl in New Jersey, a mirror from Goa, and a bride who was never buried. This isn't a ghost story, it's a memory, waiting to be worn. Let her wear red, let her be remembered. When the mirror finally crossed the ocean, it arrived wrapped in linen, sealed in glass, and boxed inside a crate lined with lead. There was no return address, only a label. DaCosta family, West Windsor, New Jersey, in memory of Aunt Savita. Thomas DaCosta thought it was a mistake. His aunt had been silent in her final years, locked inside a hospice room, refusing visitors. When she died, the family barely spoke about it. But a few weeks after the funeral, the crate arrived. Inside was an old mirror, oval, heavy, framed in thick bronze with carvings none of them could read. His wife, Rena, didn't want it. "It's beautiful," she said hesitantly, "but it feels like something we shouldn't move." Still, they hung it in the upstairs hallway, across from Anya's room. Their 9-year-old daughter was the first to speak to it. "She's nice," Anya said one evening. "She wears red. She doesn't blink like we do." Rena stared at the child. "Who, baby?" "The auntie, in the mirror." The first real sign came during a storm. The power had gone out. Thomas lit a candle and placed it near the base of the mirror so the hallway wouldn't be pitch black. But sometime around 2 a.m., the mirror moved. It didn't fall. It didn't shake. It shifted. 6 inches forward, onto the floor, face down. The frame was warm. Too warm. When they flipped it over, there was no crack. But Rena gasped. On the glass was a red smear, finger width, across the bottom edge. She rubbed it with a cloth. It didn't come off. A few nights later, Rena was passing through the hallway when she heard murmuring. Software uneven, coming from her daughter's room. She walked past the mirror and didn't notice that her reflection stayed behind. When she reached Anya's door, she paused. The voice was her daughter's, but the words were wrong. Not English, not Hindi, not even Konkani. Rena reached for her phone. She recorded it. The next morning, their parish priest refused to listen to it. He only said, "You must speak to someone outside the church." That's when Rena found a name, scribbled faintly in a church ledger from the 1970s. Warren Lorraine, light sensitive, not to be contacted unless desperate. She made the call. Ed and Lorraine Warren arrived a week later. They entered the house and sat with Anya first. Lorraine gently asked the girl, "Can you tell me who you've been talking to?" Anya looked up and said, "The auntie in the mirror." Lorraine blinked. "What mirror, sweetheart?" Without a word, Anya took her hand and led her into the hallway. When Lorraine saw the mirror, her breath caught. She stood frozen for a moment. Then she turned to Ed and whispered, "She's not trying to hurt the child." Ed asked, "Then what is she doing?" Lorraine looked again at the hallway mirror. "She's teaching her." Lorraine would later write in the case file, "This is not a haunting. This is a bridal imprint. A soul trapped in glass, preserved by ritual, seeking continuation. She is not dead. She is waiting for someone to remember her. Not in prayer, but in blood." That night, the Warrens set up audio equipment around the mirror. The first 2 hours were silent. At 2:12 a.m., a whisper was captured. "Let her wear red. Let her be remembered." Then another voice, softer, childlike. "She's already teaching me how to step through." Lorraine sat upright. It's not her voice. It's both of them. Layered. At 2:19 a.m., a candle flickered out. Then another. The hallway chilled. Anya stepped into view. She wasn't sleepwalking. She was fully awake, dressed in a white frock, holding a mirror shard. She stared at Lorraine and smiled. "Did Beatrice show you her wedding dress?" she asked. "It was stitched by the dead." Rena screamed. Anya turned slowly, looked at her mother. "Mummy," she said sweetly, "she says I can borrow her name, just for a while." Lorraine whispered, "Ed, we need to cover the mirror. Now." Ed pulled the veil over the bronze frame. Anya didn't resist. She just stared at the cloth. She won't stay in there forever, Anya said. Mirrors are meant to open. They took the child downstairs. The mirror was sealed in a box lined with sacred salts, covered in cloth, and locked in the Warrens' van by morning. The mirror was gone, with Ed and Lorraine. Everything seemed normal for the next few days. One morning, Anya was getting ready for school, sitting quietly, combing her hair in the mirror. Rena walked past and paused, listening. Anya was singing, not a nursery rhyme, not a pop song, the old bridal hymn. Rena rushed in, panicked. She scooped up her daughter in her arms and turned to leave the room. As she reached the door, something made her look back. Anya was still sitting at the mirror, staring back. But the Anya in her arms and whispered softly, "Mommy, the lady in red is calling you. She wants you to speak to her." Rena froze. Slowly, fearfully, she turned around and saw the mirror. Her daughter's reflection had never moved. She gently placed Anya down, and together they walked toward the mirror. Two figures, one reflection. Anya reached out and held her mother's hand, then looked up and smiled. "Mommy, don't worry. Death is not the end. It's just the beginning. I love you, Mommy." If you're still listening, you've survived the final chapter of this untold Indian Warren horror case. If this story haunted you, like the videos, subscribe to this channel for more true nightmares and leave a comment below. What would you do if your daughter's reflection smiled before she did? I'm Joker, and I'll see you in the next story.